Welcome back, everybody, to Take Two Podcast, and I am joined by an actor extraordinaire. He is an actor, a producer, a musician, a host, and a frequent visitor to the Italian festival in the streets of Baltimore every August, Mr. Johnny Alonso.
What's going on, brother?
This is going to be a fun interview, folks. I know this gentleman for quite some time. He's an actual friend of mine, but we'll try and keep it professional as much as we can. Johnny is a phenomenal actor, and we're going to break a few things down that he's done in the past, and then we're going to move forward, and he's got a lot. I say a lot of good stuff coming up that you guys need to be on board with. So, Johnny, first of all, how you been?
I'm well, Paisan. It's been a while, man. How's everything with you?
Things are going great. We're rocking. No matter what the world throws at us, we can still create some art. And luckily now I think things are starting to get back to where we can get out, get onto sets, get filming. And I think you know that more than anybody right now. At least things are kind of moving back in a positive direction, right?
Yeah, they are. They are. I mean, yeah, COVID's definitely, it's put a nice, stab into the industry. But I mean, I've been very lucky. I mean, fall pilot season, as you know, in Los Angeles, between September and December is fall pilot season. So it's not pilot season like in January. This is more for television. And literally in the past 2 weeks, I've had 11 auditions, self-tape auditions. You're not going into casting anymore. You're submitting stuff either via Zoom or, self-tape through your agent. And I'm here on location in South Carolina. I just booked the Netflix series Outer Banks. So I've got a cool co-starring role. Very excited. We'll talk about that later. Okay. But literally, man, everything's changed on set. It's TV Guide version, a couple minutes. When you've been on sets.
Yeah.
Where you get to socialize, you hang out. Once you get through hair and makeup, you can watch them film. Just be very, very quiet. Not anymore. Right now, they have literally 3 zones: red zone, yellow zone, green zone. Red zone is basically for holding. Yellow zone is for hair and makeup and for wardrobe. And, if you're like a co-star or a supporting lead or whatever, like myself on this show, you go back to your trailer. You do not fraternize. You don't hang on set. You're pretty much isolated in your trailer. And then once you're ready to get on set, they take you to green zone. And green zone is only the director, the first AD, and the actors, no one else. It's very different. Very different. Yeah.
Well, you just jumped right into it. That's perfect, because these are things I wanted to ask you about. Like things like craft services. Like, is that even there? Is that?
Whoa, good question. Yes. Once you get to the set, of course, you check in with the first AD. You check in with all whoever you need to, and then they take you into your trailer. You immediately are texted. They're not even giving out paper. They text you what your choices are for crafting or for dinner. So they have everything prepared for you. So let's just say once Brian's going through makeup and wardrobe and all that, you come back into your trailer. If you ask for a specific, like say coffee or breakfast, it's waiting for you in your trailer, in a bag, in boxes. Yeah.
Wow.
Same thing with dinner. We used to have the tables of like 8-foot tables. You sit several people at tables. That's all gone. Once you break for dinner, they already have your choices. They're all boxed. They're in a bag waiting for you in your trailer again, so you eat by yourself.
Wow, that's crazy. Okay, because I know with like a lot of background work and stuff, that's the thing. It's just you're all huddled on those tables, and I'm curious how those are even divided up to a degree with having that many like extras and stuff.
They've limited that down to the union. Screen Actors Guild has said, okay, well, we're going to try this with Outer Banks. This is actually one of the first shows on the East Coast, at least, to try this whole new schematic. So any kind of background extras, if you needed 30, forget it. You're like maybe going to get 5. Wow. Because they have a limited amount of people that they can have on set. And in each zone, you still have to be 6 feet apart. So, it's limited space. So it's really, really tough. But they're making things work. The writers and producers are very creative, where you can have someone passing by. Like you need background actors. No film or television will ever look natural or real if you don't have people around you,
Right, sure, sure.
Yeah, so point, and you can't do the big crowds anymore, at least for the time being, unless you try to CGI stuff. But for like at least my scenes, I can't really give away too much, but let's just pretend that you're in a building and you were in an office building and you had like 25 desks around you. Well, they're being very creative. They'll establish it, have a few people walking, then close up on you immediately. So you only need that one person walking behind you. So they've changed the way
Okay.
they're. Yeah, it's cool, man.
I like it. I like it. I'm glad when you used me as an example, you didn't say hair and makeup. You just said makeup, but that's fine.
You funny, dude.
So last question for with COVID stuff, and then we'll move into some more positive stuff, because at the end of the day, we're working, and that's a positive. So is everybody masked? Are you getting tested?
Okay.
Temperatures, like
Everything, brother.
Yeah.
Everything you just mentioned. This was one of the hardest shoots for me because I booked this, I'm on the West Coast, man. So when I booked this, they're like, listen, yeah, congratulations. I'm like, yeah, cool, co-starring role. I'm excited. What do you need? When am I fly out? They go, well, you're flying out tomorrow. You need a COVID test today because the results have to be in before you film. I'm like, oh my God. So whirlwind, I had to get tested in San Diego. Through one of their labs at the Screen Actors Guild, said this will make your results quick. Had to get it tested. Flew to Charleston, South Carolina. Of course, the whole airline thing is masked and all that. Once I got on set, my test results, of course, were negative. Were fantastic. So when you're on set, brother, I don't care if you're in the red zone, yellow zone, green zone, you're always wearing a mask until they are saying, okay, actors rehearsal. That's when you take your mask off. Now, the problem with always wearing the mask, of course, once you go through makeup, it gets all over your mask. So they always have to keep retouching your face with, the makeup lady has to, or the makeup person has to come back on in the green zone. It's not like it used to be with makeup. They just come up and do your thing. Everybody has now their separate bag of makeup. It's really, really, really detailed these days, man. So yeah, I mean, it's not easy. I mean, and it's time consuming, and the union, as you know, you used to be able to shoot into overtime. Well, they're trying to limit how many hours you can have now on set, just because of just being around people. You just got to be careful, which is now extending the weekly shoots, because you used to get away with 14-hour, 16-hour days. Now, if you can only do up to 10-hour days, those other 4 or 6 hours that you were expecting to do in overtime are now pushing to another week, which bumps up your budget even more. So,
Gotcha.
It's tough, man. It's tough.
All right, folks, we did Take Two podcasts here. We're chatting with actor Johnny Alonso. You might recognize him from Dawson's Creek, One Tree Hill. He had some recurring roles there. A movie called Safe House, Coffin, Coffin Part 2. Soon Coffin Part 3, maybe even Gotham. You got to be on. I was so jealous, man. I loved Gotham, and when I saw that you booked it, I was like, I gotta watch Sword. And you're the Penguins band, right? You're like in his band, his little house band.
I was awesome. Kaz. I was the bass player in Penguins house band at Iceberg Lounge. Robin Lord Taylor is one of the coolest dudes to ever hang out with, bro.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. And every time the other show that I do hosting for, Click on This, whenever we if there's a chance to meet him or like do an interview, he's always like Johnny Alonso, and we always do interviews. So he's
nice.
He's super cool. The whole cast of Gotham, everyone on the show is about as genuine as you would think they are. They are one of the nicest groups I've ever worked with.
Very cool. That's awesome. Okay, so I want to go backwards. I want to go way backwards. And we're gonna do some Click on This, but I want to go way backwards. It's 1992.
Okay.
And a young Johnny A has booked a CBS after-school special as your first. This is your first IMDb credit, and then from there we've taken off from there.
Taken off. Yes, Sexual Considerations, a Hallmark after-school special. What a great name, huh? Yeah, and it was about bullying, if I remember correctly, and that was my first gig. That was my first network TV show. Oh my God, I can't believe it.
Throwing you a curveball, making you remember. Sorry.
I think I did that in the 1800s. It was so long ago. So I remember auditioning for that. Just a young actor, just didn't know what I was doing. But I came in with the wrong look. I remember now. They were looking for more of a jock type. And I mean, if you look at me, dude, do I look like a jock? Absolutely not. So I remember coming in just with typical punk rock self, and the character's dialogue, I think my character's name was Guy. His dialogue was very angsty, so it kind of looked right with my character look. So I learned a long time ago in auditioning that they don't always know what they want. I mean, there is, to a degree, they need something, but if you bring them something that really just outshines what they're all thinking, you have a better than half of a chance of booking it. I mean,
Yeah.
I've seen women book guys roles because they came in such a hard angle, and they were like, you know what? Forget having a guy. We're having her play the gig.
Sure.
So, being on that Hallmark gig, man, was my first gig that got me my union status, my Screen Actors Guild card.
Very cool. Very cool. So that made me think of something because, you know, I've done most of my stuff here, but I've got to do some New York and just one LA audition. You have bounced all over and you've done them all. And when I speak with folks here and guys who have done well here, casting directors like in this area, Baltimore, DC area, you can go in there hardcore. You can go in there like just and blow them out of the water with look and act, like show up in character. Whereas
Right.
sometimes in New York and LA, they've seen it all. So they're kind of ready for you to show me what you could just do acting wise, more so than if I had a jean jacket on to play the roles. Does that sound about right?
You hit it on the head. It's hard to surprise casting directors in New York and Los Angeles.
Right.
That's
Okay.
what you're trying to say.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's no question. They've seen it all. Seriously, they've seen it all. They've seen all the tricks. They all know that, okay, are you ready? And you start scratching your head. They know what you're doing. They know you're trying to catch their attention. So you can't fool them. The only way you're going to book or get a call back is to impress them with your acting. That's veteran acting. And I'm talking veteran because there's so many actors out there that think and claim that they're actors. They're not, you know, they're budding actors but they want that high status. Well, if you keep trying to impress a casting director or trying to impress the room, but your skills are not there, you're really just shooting yourself in the foot. You know, bringing in props, wearing sunglasses on your forehead. Dude, nobody cares about that.
Sure.
That doesn't work. You need to come in. The job is called acting. You got to come in as an actor.
Right.
So yeah, if you're coming in, if you audition, example, if Brian auditions for a priest role in Los Angeles or in New York, you don't come in with the collar. You come in with an attitude. You come in with that spirit drive. You come in with something that shows not necessarily a priest, or whatever, but something there that they see in their minds like, oh, he's perfect for that role. That's how you book, or that's how at least you get callbacks. That's how I get callbacks. Yeah.
There you go, folks. Actor, producer, and soon to be acting coach, Johnny Alonso, with his advice that he just gave you for free. You're welcome. Click on this. Click on this is a basically a magazine online that you guys do. It's an interview style show, started back in 2011. And but I do, so I want to ask if we've had things kind of on pause recently with everything shut down, or is that still continuing?
Well, you know, it's continuing virtually. You know, I mean, I've done about maybe 70 episodes. I'm the first host on that show. I'm the longest standing host with Elena Muscat, our chancellor. She's the greatest. And I've been with her since day one. I am the longest running host. And I've had such a blast getting on location with her. I've shot everywhere in the country with her. And with our team, we've gone to Sundance, we've gone to New York's Fashion Week. I've shot all over Los Angeles, of course, as I'm out there. We've shot in the South, Texas, everywhere, South by Southwest, whatever it may be. And then, of course, with COVID, like anything else, dead stop, grinding halt. So we were like, you know what, man, we're going to have to think of something, because this show, as you called it, it is like an online magazine. It's a pop culture show. And in order to stay active, you got to be in the mix. So Alana switched gears and said, you know what, man, we're just going to start interviewing everyone online, have my favorite hosts really do their work and just do it from their home studio. So the cool thing about it, B, is that we've been interviewing people now in the UK, in Asia, in Europe, all over. Yeah, so it's really broadened our, our episodes, with some really cool subjects. But I really do miss going to the rock concerts. I miss going to like Merriweather Post Pavilion and back in Columbia, for just like South by, whatever, just for all the shows. And meeting these, I've interviewed so many rock stars and celebs. I love meeting them in person. Things will come back. I feel confident about it. The world will heal. And Click on This will be back on the road again.
click on this.tv is where you can find it. Full disclosure, I have to admit something to you. When Coffin, a film that my father wrote that you were in,
Yes.
premiered in LA, and went out and got to do the LA premiere thing out there. I was doing some interview stuff beforehand on the step and repeat and the carpet and whatever, and just kind of goofing around, just trying to help out with promotions and whatever. And I was like, man, I got to get a hang of this. I may or may not have watched a couple of episodes of Click on this to try and be like, all right, how does Johnny do this whole interview shtick? So
How's he doing this?
so
Well, you know, you're doing a great job as it is, man. I follow your show. I follow this
oh,
pod.
thanks.
So, yeah, no, dude. And let me tell you, I mean, hosting is not acting. Here we go again with the acting class. Hosting is not acting. Hosting is a completely separate animal, and it's about timing. It's about cadence. It's about a television timing and
Yeah,
keeping everybody interested. So, yeah, you're doing a great job, man. I'm learning from you right now.
ha. Thanks, brother. I appreciate it. Okay, going forward, we have a lot of stuff, and this is why I shot you a message, last week or whatever, because your socials. I was like, wait a second. Just yesterday, I read on set for this. Now I'm reading on set for this and booking this, but you're on fire. And then now you get this thing that you just drop on us that you're on location with right now. So,
Yeah.
what should we look for next? What do we got? That's next up that we're downloading from you.
That's a good question, man. I mean, I'm now in the ring where I'm acting. I'm established. I'm just gonna say it like that, right?
Sure, sure.
And I've made so many contacts, so many great contacts with casting directors, distribution companies, actors in particular, money people, executives. That I'm cashing in. So I'm producing now. I'm doing a lot of producing, and without saying too much because you don't want to give away all your information. I'm working on a 5-film slate that's fully funded, and I have distribution already in place. Great national and foreign distribution. So I'm working on a couple pieces. I'm shooting after I finish Outer Banks here in South Carolina. I fly back to Southern California to prep for my next film called Harvey, which is a psychological thriller. It's written and directed by Renelle Golden, very good friend of mine, and Shannon Lanier is going to be DP. Have an excellent cast, and we're shooting this in Florida. I think November 8th for a couple weeks, right? And before Thanksgiving. It's cool. I mean, I've got a star-studded cast, some really great names. I mean, not just actors. I have talented named actors. So that project's going to be taking off in Florida in November. Once we're done that, I just put out a teaser trailer for another movie that we just shot called Last Call.
Okay.
Last Call is an anthology film, which is comprised of 4 different stories, and each story is like darker than the last one. I mean, it's a very, very psychosomatic kind of film, and we'll be shooting, I think, that the 3rd chapter in Atlanta in January. The second chapter that I shot was shot back home, man, in Baltimore. I shot it in Baltimore. Oh yeah, and we're still going to be wrapping that up. I'm going to have you on set. Maybe I can pull you in. So yeah, good. That's what I want to hear. So yeah, I got that. We got Last Call. I've got Harvey. We just finished up a Hallmark type film called Legacy of Love.
Okay.
I've been very busy because during COVID, I mean, I'm hyperactive as it is, if you can't tell. So I can't sit still, man. And to be honest with you, for 20 years of my career, I have never stopped working. I've always been doing something. So once COVID hit, I didn't know how to sit still. So I decided not to sit still and just keep all the contacts hot with the casting directors and exec producers that I know. And we got this thing passed. So, and that's why now I'm on fire. I'm nonstop. I just got to get some sleep and stay healthy. That's all I got to do.
I remember there was a running gag kind of going with some of the old Safe House production folks that we don't chat with necessarily as much anymore, but it was kind of like, where's Johnny now? Like people were just kind of like, what'd you hear from Johnny? I was like, oh man, he's in Southern Cal right now. I was like, oh man, last week I just saw him. He was down in Florida. He was in here. He's working.
It's true. It's true, man. It's like, a good friend of mine, Herb Becker. He's like, yeah, man, I just spoke to Johnny Alonso, and then I just saw him. He's now on the road heading to North Carolina. How is he doing this?
Yeah.
Part of the job, bro, as you know, home is where you hang your hat. You've got to travel in this industry. And don't think for one second that, everything's just going to happen, in your little bubble. You have to move because if you're everywhere, it's a presence. It's how you handle yourself. but it's really more about how you handle yourself as a pro.
You can find Johnny on Instagram, Johnny Alonso, easy to find there, as well as on Twitter. JohnnyAlonso.com is his website. Scroll through that IMDb page and you'll find a litany. Listen, I was going through and I was like, all right, hipster, cool guy, detective, villain, creepy villain.
Creepy villain.
He wore a
Villain.
mask. Then you were Batman in a fan film one time, or you were Bruce Wayne at least. You know?
I was God. What was that? Batman, Master of Fear.
Yeah.
It was pretty cool, dude. I got to learn some real great stage combat, karate. And like it's all dance movements. That's what we always call it. It's definitely combat. I mean, you're hitting each other, but you have your stunt coordinator. It's all a dance routine. As long as you know the timing, and that's where musicians actually really, their talent of timing and for playing really helps with choreography. Because James Dean used to say that all the time. In order to be a great actor, you have to have the lively arts within you. Because, when your director says, "All right, you got to block. I need you here, this here. You got to hit this light at this time." It's all timing. So your timing as an actor, really plays a big part, because if you help the director, you get your job done, you do their job if you do your job properly. So I learned that a long time ago, man. I learned that if you know how to listen, listen and time and kind of see what's going on behind the camera without getting behind the camera, everybody's job is it's so much easier, to get to that final goal. So, man, I mean, I've done a ton, man. And that Batman piece was fun. That one never took off, but, I met a lot of people that I enjoyed working with. And, if I was down on that, I wouldn't be here right now. You just got to keep moving forward,
Yeah. Listen, be on time, and keep moving forward. There's some phenomenal advice for all actors and just in general in life.
In general.
Yeah. Johnny Alonso, folks, you can find him. We'll tag him on all of our socials. Thank you, sir, for joining Take Two Podcast. I very much so appreciate it. And once some of these things get booked and out there, come back on and we can then send people your way again.
I most definitely will, man. Hey, listen, I've enjoyed everything, man. You're great. And please say hi to Pops. Please say hi to everybody for me.
Will do. Thanks, Johnny.
Take care, brother. See you soon. Thanks, guys.